We live, baby.
Asia, where did you decide to go from? We live. Oh, we good?
Yes. Right.
I was trying to look good in the camera.
All right. Yay.
We need to know.
Up to this.
You see. Yeah.
Where?
You see that's about it.
You yourself or me. Okay. All right. So we have a viewer. All right.
Okay. So thank you to everybody who has tuned in. Big thank you to Breakout Fest for allowing us to be a part of this weekend's festivities. Shout out to Wardrobe for organizing this session for us to talk about the process of me publishing my book. We're going to talk about how I orchestrated the idea of the book all the way to connecting with a publisher and getting the final aesthetic done by my graphic designer. We're going to introduce ourselves first.
Okay.
My name is Destiny Williams. I am an emerging author. And I have Birthing Anew coming out this fall. Right now, the tentative date is October 4th. I also have a pre-sale going on. You can check that out on my Instagram, Destiny, which is DESTINII_W, and click the link in my bio.
I am Angel King Wilson. I am a writer and also an educator. I started Silent Books Publishing. It's a publishing company that helps people self-publish their books. And I actually started that after I self-published my first book. And I wanted to give other people a platform, especially, honestly, Black people that I knew, so many Black people who wanted to publish their books and just didn't know where to start. And so I feel like it's a large audience out there, people of color who really want to publish their books in a certain area. And that's what Silent Books Publishing serves to do, to help people self-publish in that area.
Hi, my name is Mikeia Hughley. I'm a graphic designer. I'm also an educator, and I'm a footwear designer as well. I have a design company called Creative, where I do brand development, logo design, book design, everything related to graphics. It's my passion. It's what I love. And I'm excited to work on this project with this great team here, the squad.
Okay. So I'm going to have you all do that again. I'm sorry, I do understand this live, but I'm going to do it on IG Live too, because I'm not sure if like people are able to tap in. And
We're going to do it again.
I thought you said we had a viewer. Sorry, viewer.
it was me. I was the viewer. Okay, and this is a great angle too.
All right.
Checking connection.
Oh, okay.
Let some people come in.
All right, come on, Director.
All right.
Direct. Are you sure this thing we got viewer right here? This is concurrent viewers. Shoot, I don't want to be rude.
Look.
All right. Going live, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm going to wait for a couple more people to come in. But this is the process.
Hey, everyone.
Destiny, Angel, and Mikeia.
Hi.
You guys look really great on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're really excited to be here, so thank y'all for tuning in.
Yes.
All right, let's kick this thing off.
Okay, so thank you all for tuning in once again. Big thank you to Breakout for allowing us to participate in the festivities this weekend. Shout out to Wardrobe for organizing this session, which is called The Process, From Idea to Book. We're going to talk about my new project, Birth in the New, which is set to launch October 4th. That's the tentative date. And we're going to talk about how I came up with the idea, how I connected with a publisher, and how I connected with my graphic designer to kind of bring the aesthetic of the book to life. My name is Destiny Williams. I'm an emerging author, and I wear a few other hats, but today I'm just going to wear my author hat. And Angel, introduce yourself.
Okay, I am Angel King Wilson. I am a writer, educator, and I also started Silent Books Publishing. It's a self-publishing company where I help people self-publish their books and also market and distribute their books.
My name is Mikeia. I'm a graphic designer. I have a company called Creative. We work on brand development, logo design, book design as well. I'm also an educator and a footwear designer.
All right, so we're going to get right into the idea of my book. I'm going to describe my book as an intellectual collaboration of motivational quotes, really unique poems, as well as some personal narratives. And the baseline of the idea was this COVID-19 pandemic. I had a lot of time to kind of sit with myself, and I'm also pregnant, so I didn't sleep well. So in the nighttime, I wrote a lot. I naturally write a lot anyway. I'm a creative writer in my personal life. I'm also a business writer in my 9-to-5. So writing is pretty much my outlet. However, I have been procrastinating for years to actually put together an actual project. So I do want to start by saying I've always been inspired by Issa Rae. She did this short interview and she talked about the power of networking across in the Black community to really set up foundational relationships that we can build together amongst professionals, as you know, young Black professionals, and then elevate to a higher level of, you know, making money, expanding our projects, etc. So fortunately, I met Angel and Mikeia at an event supporting another good girlfriend who is Cheyenne. A lot of you are familiar with her. And once I came up with the idea, you know, I really was thinking that I needed to collaborate with them. So the first initial collaboration was with Angel. Angel had contacted me and actually asked me if I was interested in being her accountability partner, which was really funny. It was a funny conversation because I kind of take everything in life really serious. So I kind of like Googled and I took some notes and I was like, you know, how can I be an effective accountability partner? And I really went into it really trying to be a supportive friend. However, I did have long-term and short-term goals myself. And one of mine was to write. It wasn't even to do a full book, right?
It was actually one of your goals was to write 10 songs by October.
Yeah.
And definitely like write too. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm also a songwriter, more of a poetic songwriter. So that's another story. But it ended up being that I wrote 10 plus stories. And I in the middle of the night, Angel really inspired me to write my book. She had informed me about her publishing company. And also she had wanted to collaborate with me to come on to her company as an editor. So we kind of said, listen, you come on as my editor, I partner with you for publishing, we're going to get this project done. And then that's how the idea of the book kind of came about. So Angel, you want to go ahead and talk about your publishing company?
Yeah, sure. So, Silent Books Publishing came about after I actually self-published my first book last year in May. And it was more of an idea, but I knew I had to start taking it seriously when more and more people kept asking me about publishing. And I knew that so many Black people that I knew didn't know not even the first step in publishing. Sometimes, honestly, not even like writing. That's why I even had to get an accountability partner, because writing isn't easy. So once I realized there was like an audience out there for me, I definitely wanted to start taking it very seriously. And and building a team. So that's why I asked, and I knew that Destiny, she's been modest, but she actually like works with John Hopkins. She edits, works there, and so I was like, I can bring on Destiny because even though like I'm a creative writer, but I don't like to get into Destiny going. Make sure everything is present tense. You going, put the commas where they need to go and all of that stuff. Make sure the contractions are there. Not there. And so she's going to take care of all the editing stuff. So I really wanted to bring Destiny on the team of Silent Books Publishing, and also just her as a writer, help her with her project. And you know how even like when she was talking about Issa Rae, I'm networking across because everyone knows when you just starting a business, you gotta do some stuff for free to really like figure out what you're doing. You know what I mean? Figure out what you're doing, and just some people that's willing to like get down in the nitty gritty and work with you. Because honestly, I didn't know everything I was doing. I had to do research on like ISBN numbers and barcodes and different like copywriting laws and things like that. So it was like Destiny really sat and worked with me in that area.
Yeah, and I can definitely say with this project, I knew that I wanted to invest in this project. I was willing to invest monetarily, and I wanted to do that with someone who was going to not only take my money, but I need people to hold my hand. I'm not tech savvy, y'all, and I ask a lot of questions, and I need to be acquainted. I have we did Zoom meeting requests. We did a lot of phone calls, and even though I do work for a prestigious institution, there was a lot that I did learn from Angel. For instance, I wrote my book and sent her my first manuscript. And she was like, okay, we need the copyright page. We need the dedication page. We need to know who is your book in honor of. She was like, you need to write about the author. You need a preface. And I was like, oh my God, that's a whole nother set of projects. I had no clue what an ISBN number was. I didn't really know how to advertise or project myself to the public as an author. I had no idea how to collaborate or research printers. So what I can say to you writers is it's okay to just have the passion and the expertise to write. Don't put too much pressure on yourself when you don't know how to execute the rest of your project. The main purpose is for you to focus on writing and really bring your ideas to life. And then, you collaborate with other people to kind of make the project fully complete. So then we can get into how I partner with my kids. So unique story. I'm so in love with my book. I didn't even care about what it looked like aesthetically. I was just like, man, it's good. People just gonna read it. So my partner was like, no, it don't work like that. People are very visual. It has to speak to them visually before they can even engage into what the book content really is. And my kid had just did Cheyenne's album cover. We were so in love with the album, we was in love with the cover. So we talked about it, and then I was inspired to reach out to you, my kid. And I do want to say our relationship, we're friends, but as far as the business that we handle together was very professional. So you can kind of tell them about how our consultation went, get into the breakdown of what's the term called for the document that you presented to me?
The layout of the book?
The layout and the contract.
Oh yeah. So I think for me, every designer is different. So usually when I'm working with anybody, I like to present a proposal to let them know, hey, this is how I'm gonna break down, this project. So we have our deadlines, we have the cost, how much it's gonna be. So I like to be very professional when it comes to other people's work, And in terms of the process, hats to you guys because they came to me with the whole thing basically complete. They had a copyright page, which most authors don't even think about, right?
Shout out to the publisher.
They had everything. So it was okay, boom, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna see what's my next step for her book. And every book process is different. Working with you, it's been more formal. It's a more formal process. Working with somebody else may just be more creative. They want to be a part of the whole book design. But I have to say, like, I like working with people who just like say, hey, here's my product, take it to the next level. And like, I think that's what we have, and like that's what's been working for us. In terms of like the book design, this book is probably the best, like interior wise and exterior.
The cool thing is we all love it.
Yeah,
Like,
we love
even
it.
though, like it's mine. Like I think we all equally
We
love
all love it. Like, cause I'm in love with the design process. Like most of the time I don't read the books. Like I have never read any book that I've done design wise because I'm not a reader. But in terms of like the different parts, like, you know, certain words you say in a book, I'm like, okay, I know this is important. How do I like expound on this visually? So I think like that's been working for us, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I can say that we're all creative. I sent this post that was it was like a funny meme that said like, be careful with getting into a relationship with creatives. Be careful with having friendships with creatives and then partnering with creatives for their businesses, because we all kind of take our portion of the process very serious. So I knew that they needed to respect me as the writer, as far as what do I want readers to receive from what it is that they read. I had to respect her as the publisher. I had to fall in line. I had to respect her as a graphic designer. And I committed myself to not trying to control the visual aesthetic that she was coming up for my book. And I'm telling you, when I let that go, it even came down to the cover. I let it go so much that the cover, how many covers we went through?
Probably like 5.
I think it was like 5 covers. Yeah. So we went through, at one point we wanted the textured covers. We wanted to be velvet or suede. And then they kind of talked to me and was like, you know, as an emerging author, your first book probably shouldn't be something so plain. Think about it like on bookshelves, in people's homes, at bookstores, and festivals. Some people only gonna buy it because it look good, even if they never plan to read it. So I was like, dang, scratch the velvet. Then I wanted a ribbon, right? I wanted to put the cover as a ribbon. They was like, nah, we're not doing a ribbon. Then we had 2 different, we had so many covers, but even though I gave her full advantage of the creative aspect of designing the book, she still allowed me the comfort of saying, I don't like this. You know, this is not it, which was really, really good. And I appreciate their patience, you know, with me, because sometimes I'm so much of a person that's like for the community and for the people and for the readers that it was really hard for me to be honest about what it is I wanted to portray. I can kind of talk about editing the book too. Mm-hmm. I kind of corresponded with them a lot about if I was second guessing any of the content in the book. So what I did was I allowed several professionals, some of my associates, as well as some of my close friends to preview the book. And the preview in that aspect was more so I wanted to get an idea of what was the reader's experience before I actually published. Not so much to change my book for them, but I wanted to, number one, see, you know, what feelings did come about from reading. Number 2 is at least 80% of what I'm trying to portray through the book. Is it being received? And I got some hard feedback. And one poem, it was called Pure Misogyny. And I ended up having to change the title because one of my good friends who is a professor, she's an artist herself, she felt like there is no cure to misogyny. And my poem was contradicting what the title actually meant. And she was, it made me think about how I could be offensive to women who have had difficult relationships with men. But I still loved the poem. And I still thought the poem was very, very important. It would be nice to tell the viewers of what's the title of that poem now, because the poem still lives in the book. But what I can say is when I reached out to you all, I feel like you really encouraged me to stay grounded in what it is I felt like my original vision was. But Just talk about how that process was for y'all. Like when I would come to y'all and question things and just redirecting me.
Well, even as a writer, or even giving advice to other writers, I think that everyone's going to have an opinion about, even as like a designer, you know what I mean? Like everyone's going to have an opinion about what you do. So I was actually telling her to forget what homegirl was saying until like I sat down and was like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? We live in a very sensitive culture,
Yeah.
and especially these days. And so I understood, you know, changing the title. But originally, like even I was watching a video with Nikki Giovanni, and she says, she was like, if everyone likes what you're doing, you're a hoe. You know, she was like, like everybody can't like what you're doing. You know, is like who wants to be a hoe out here? Your work is just so freely open to everyone. You know what I mean? If you're offended by my work, thank you. You know, if you want to debate about it, then I welcome that, because I think that is like that's when your work is like, oh yes. But so what Destiny did keep, I'm glad that she did keep the poem instead of throwing it out or changing it. But like I said, I do understand the title being, sensitive. How do you feel about it, my kid?
Honestly, I feel like having it, the simple fact that she felt some type of way about it means your book works, right?
Yeah.
So like,
because I want people to get some type of emotion from it.
Exactly. So like for me, it's like it's an art form. It's a piece of work that it's not gonna be comfortable. You know what I mean? So like, it's not like y'all gotta become best friends. Like this is your artwork. Like you should be able to express what you want. And if they don't want to read it, skip the page. So that's what I think.
I also want to kind of go into talking about how, as a writer, you got to stay in love with your project. It's almost like a relationship. Your project will evolve at different stages. I guarantee you, the first time you write it, it's going to be trash. Like, you're going to think it's great. You're like, oh my God, I did it. I remember I put together my first manuscript. I'm like, it's hard. It's ready. Everybody got to read it. And I've read my book every day or every other day since. So May was when I originally put it together. I've consistently read my book. I've reread it after I received all of the preview comments. I've even had to still reread it after I presented it to my publisher. After it was presented to my kid, after my kid had already put a number of designs in the book, I had to send her a list of edits like, we gotta go back because I need this. Can you change the font here? The footnote isn't correct. So you can never lose the passion and the commitment to your project. And you do have to accept that it's going to evolve and it's going to change, and just, stay encouraged and stay committed. And that's the other thing which I found so precious about this project is doing it with my friends. They were committed to the changes that I needed. They were committed to, to being patient, and helping me, stay grounded in each stage. You're not going to get that from a publisher that you don't have a, friendly relationship with. You're not going to get that from a graphic designer. And my kid didn't switch the price on me every time I came back with her. Every time I came back to her with a new request. And I was like, every time, I think I sent you like a SpongeBob quote. A SpongeBob meme one time. And I was like, because...
At one point, I was like, my kid's sick of you. Like, you get her.
But you know what, though? Like, that's why you don't take every project that's handed to you.
Yeah, talk about that.
Like, for me, I already know, like, if I'm going to do a project and I don't particularly like the concept or whatever, the cost might be higher because I'm going to have to be more committed to this thing that I'm really not in touch with. You know what I mean? But knowing that you're in love with your work, like you saying, I read this every day. So I'm like, okay, she for real. Like, I'm going to take, because you read it every day, I'm going to take my time, make sure it makes sense. Because this is what you're investing in. And I respect your investment in your own work. So I think that's why when you hit me up like, hey, can we change this one word? And I'm like, oh my gosh, then I gotta open my laptop or open this program. But I'm like, I gotta do it. All right, I got you. Like, don't worry about it. Like, reassuring you that, send me all your edits so we can make it happen.
You know what else was interesting about our process? I feel like myself as the writer, as well as my kid, we had both found unique moments within the book process where someone else had kind of already said what we said or did what we did. So for me, it was the Lauryn Hill quote. I will not be judged by these laws of man. Now, I learned that quote from church, from my church, and my church is a very unique church. It's a very unique twerk. Lord, forgive me. My church is a very unique church. It's an international church, and a lot of people don't know about it. So I kind of learned that from my biblical studies within my church, and I put that in my book. One day, I'm like, it's like wash day. I got natural hair. I'm listening to Lauryn Hill. And she was doing a live performance, and she said the quote. And I'm like, girl, you done plagiarized. Like, oh my God. So I had to call my kid, like, yo, we got to throw Lauryn Hill name in there because I got to give her credit. Talk about the process with, at one point when we wanted to, the drawing that actually advertised this segment is not the cover of the book, guys. It's just artwork that lives within the book. So talk about that conversation we had to have about the artwork being on the cover.
Okay, so, as a creative, right? So I'm not just a designer, I do art, I paint, and all the other stuff. So the book, we talked about what could possibly be the cover. And I'm like, all right, cool, like I could draw this, I could do this, blah, 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 blah. And at one point, I didn't want to draw it like by hand, like on paper, because I was like, that's just going to take too much time. So I was like, I'm going to just do it digitally. Did it digitally. I'm like, oh, this looks slick, right? So I'm doing a joint. And, I didn't think about it, but I've seen an artist that basically done some work like that before. And for me, I was like, okay, this kind of looks like this person's work. I don't think it should be on the cover. But, as an artist, I feel this way. But other people may be like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, let's do it. But for me, I'm like, all right, this can't be on the cover. So, like, all these different things about the process is like, sometimes you got to filter out things that don't work. All the time, you got to be true to your own work. So I think that's where we are. We're still working on the book. We're trying to finish it up now. Like, we on the go.
Yeah. No, we just had a conversation last night about this cover.
Yeah.
I was like, legit, I was like, I'm stressed.
And Angel was trying to, like, we were all fatigued because we all have very, very hardcore professions. And Angel was trying to, like, politically correctly find a way to say, so what are you saying? Like,
right.
Did you draw it?
Right.
Is it your drawing?
And I drew it, for sure. I drew it, but the look of it, I don't think it's, like, true to my work.
Okay.
Just because I can do it doesn't mean that that's me.
Mm-hmm.
So we can explain the artwork really quickly. The artwork that advertised this actually came from an original photograph done by photographer Asia Kempley, who is one of my very good friends. However, my partner gave me the idea of, before that, originally the book was called The Becoming.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. So I really do love Michelle Obama, right? And I did not even...
I say, she sent me the book, and I'm like, do you really want to compete with that title? Like, that's the title of Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. And she's like, I had no idea. And I'm like, no, you got to change the title.
I think I kind of just, like, I was so invested in my project and committed to it. I wanted that title. I just forgot about Michelle in that moment. I was like, man, it's about destiny. And the whole book is about, it's really about us. I feel like, especially women, but people in general, we go through this process of finding ourselves, right? But we think that we're going to get to this point where I'm like, I know myself and it's legit. And then life you going to just coast in life. Like, you ain't got to grow no more. You done figured it out. We all been there. So the book is kind of about, it's an ever-going journey of learning yourself. You're going to always be at different stages. And at each stage, you're going to have to honor your mentality in that stage, your emotions, what you look like physically, what your state of mind is, what your environment is. And you got to embrace all of those things. So as you read the book, Birth in the New, the title resulted to Birthing Anew because at each stage, you're birthing that new version of yourself. And think about giving birth, right? When you see your baby, oh my God, your whole, like everything that you knew before is depleted. You just commit to this new thing, and it's just the best thing ever. But we gotta learn to feel like that about ourselves at every stage in our life. So that's what we came with Birthing Anew. So my partner, going back to the drawing, he was like, what if you do an evolution concept?
Right.
He was like, how about we have your baby picture
Right.
fade into this older womanly version of yourself? So I had the great picture from the photographer Asia Kempley, and I had this beautiful baby picture. I'm not teaching my own hand. I think I'm kind of beautiful, but that's the artwork in the book. So you'll see it. It's a spread within the book. Make sure you get your copy. The artwork is phenomenal. And at one point, it was going to be the cover. But
Nope. It's going to be something better.
yeah. So now we're going with the element of surprise.
Yeah, so y'all gotta buy the book. Period.
Yeah, you're going to love it. Is there any other, how did you feel about initially reading the book? Because you were the first person to read it.
I felt like it definitely. So I remember she came over my house and we like spent maybe like 3 hours just sitting with the book and editing it. And so I knew that. So at first, it, like she said, it felt like Birthing Anew, but I knew that she also wanted it to be in a time. People wanted to understand that it was actually in the time of COVID that she had to become comfortable with this new life that she had in herself. You know what I mean? Like just being home. So I wanted that to be clear. And even talking about staying true to yourself and like how you stand true to you, how you feel about the cover. It's a story in the book where she was trying to tread lightly for her daughter. You know, and
the story called Home.
Yeah,
Home. I love that story.
And okay, we'll give a little preview. So like, it's a story called Home, and you know, like she talks about what she feels like to be home during this time. And she wanted to also, make sure that her daughter was comfortable in that space, and her partner. And, but even in that time, it didn't feel authentic. You know what I mean? Like she had to come back to a space where she had to be completely raw about how she felt about being home during the coronavirus. And even if it kind of slightly offended her daughter because her daughter's home with her. And even in the process of editing and writing and reading it, my goal was to help Destiny stay true completely to herself. You know what I mean? And also, and overall, I loved it. I really love the poems. I love how she expresses womanly parts of the book. It's anybody can resonate with it. But my goal as the second editor, the co-editor of the book, was to basically make sure that she stay true to herself completely.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that about Silent Books Publishing, is because you're not going to get that kind of service with another publisher. You're just not. And she actually not only just, treated me like a customer, but it's also a representation of her company's work. If she published something that's not the best that it could be, it's a reflection of what your publishing company stands for. Is it really going to inspire other people to partner with you if we print trash? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And even just to even talk about Destiny outside of the writer also being the editor. So I was working with this other client, and Destiny just completely really helped this client see, honestly, like what they needed to bring out of themselves as a writer to really make this book the best book that it could be. And that's really like the goal for writers and editors, just to, just everybody like has a journal. You know what I mean? Like everybody is writing affirmations and writing. But to be a writer is constantly rewriting, writing drafts.
No fear. And I can definitely say that it's a big commitment to publish your project as a writer, especially, we could talk about all kinds of genres, right? Talk about like autobiographies, biographies, fiction, nonfiction. when you telling a story, that's sticking to you for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And your truth can be fearful to like let somebody in that much. And I was afraid of what my friends might think about some of the things that I wrote at one point. My partner, he actually doesn't like their story home, but still committing to that truth and giving it to the world. A very important thing to me as a writer is this is Black history. I feel like the only way that our Black history is honestly told is through our narratives, through our poems, through our songs. Some of the poems are very, very simple. It's like maybe 5 words, 5 phrases. But it's our history, and if we don't tell the stories authentically, then we're doing the same thing that white America has done to us for years, fabricating who we really are as a people. And then, of course, a part of the Black culture is the visual, the aesthetic. And sometimes just because you have the words, you might not have the vision for how it should come off, which is why I knew that my kid could do it. It's also important to, no matter if you are collaborating with a friend or not, do your research on people. I really looked into, they both, we're friends, but I still looked into projects that they've successfully completed before. So I knew their capabilities. I also understood their personality so that we could have an effective working relationship. Like I didn't go in boastful, like, this is the service that I'm paying you for and this is what I expect. No, you also got to be responsible in obtaining that knowledge. My kid, I'm curious, what was your motivation behind the colors that you chose?
So usually, from a designer's perspective, we know colors are like, they have their own meanings, right? So like yellow and red are hunger colors. So that's why McDonald's uses those colors. So for this one, like I looked, she kept saying, I like pink. You got pink? You put pink in it today? Right? So I was like, all right, she wants pink. I have to include pink. So, and I was like, okay, that works. So I actually looked at her Instagram page, looked at some of the photography that, she has, and it was always like bright things. So I said, okay, I have to find something that works and that like balances itself out. So the colors are dynamic. Like once you guys open the book, you're gonna be like, yo, what? I did not expect this.
It's beautiful.
Like I said, like this is probably the best book I've designed in terms of typography, which is like fonts. And where, I'm using her product and her talent and translating it to the visual aspect. So I think we've done that well in terms of color and just the layout. It's just like it's a beautiful story. It's off the chain.
Do you have a favorite piece that you've done specifically?
I think how I laid out like the COVID part, like the COVID.
Yeah.
The way I laid it out, it's kind of like interacting with the words. So imagine if someone say yes, right? If you write yes, like in small caps, right? It's like yes. But if you write yes, like yes, that means the typography is bigger. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to make sure like those aspects were like, seen in the book.
Yeah. And go ahead.
So even my kids talking about even the poem COVID, I was even thinking about like you writing a book during this time and how it's going to live forever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and I was even, so yesterday was 9/11, and I was thinking like, dang, it's like some of my nieces and nephews didn't even get to experience that. Like I remember 9/11, like leaving school like it was yesterday. So imagine, somebody reading a book or somebody experiencing that during that time, and then living in the world forever, and you'll be able to go back. And it's not just, even in the book, like it's not just COVID that she talks about. Like we had George Floyd happen, you know what I mean? And like racism and so many things, and even what we got to go through as women, and she's going through a pregnancy right now. So it's just so much jam-packed into that one book that's going to live in the world forever.
The book definitely has replay factor, which is what I really wanted. So number one, I was like, man, it has to look slick because I want this to be one of those books that live on your shelf, but you also revisit for comfort or just depending on what your emotional state. So it gives you the heavy, I kind of talk about the state of the country. I talk about the current events that happened during COVID. I talk about parental experiences with balance, as far as working a 9 to 5 and taking care of your man and taking care of your home or taking care of your woman. Trying to really have quality time with your children. I talk about the park because we couldn't really do much but go to the park. So I talk about the park, and I talk about my identity. And I also talk about the controversy between Black love amongst men and women. And I'm kind of interested to see how some women receive that, because it could go one of two ways. Like, I could have a lot of women like, yes, I'm with her, and I could have a lot of women like, I don't like her because y'all don't like how she talking about us. Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting. And the other thing about the book is, I feel like it's not holistically going to relate to every single woman, every single person, but it'll open your mind to other perspectives. And there is some way that you can find yourself in something. A lot of people who preview the book will go through the book and kind of point out how they didn't relate more than they would point out how they did relate. But that, like you said, it makes me feel like my book works. I want my book to be a conversational piece with self. My book should be bringing you to a point of self-actualization and either opening your mind to understand other women and their perspectives, or enhancing what it is that you think about yourself. And at the same time, having fun with it. I think that we just did a really, really good job. And I'm excited for the future projects. Like, I'm going to be honest, I'm probably going to keep publishing with Silent Books. Even though she's pushing me to do it myself.
It's like a self-publishing thing. And the reason why anybody, definitely contact me for self-publishing, contact my kid for design, all of that, contact Destiny for editing. But it's all like, the reason why I say it is because traditional publishing is no longer a thing. Amazon has over 300 million customers. So it's like, if she is able to self-publish her book and put it on a platform, then she can be a $1 million book copy seller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that through Silent Books Publishing, I'm going to just show you all the steps. You know what I mean? And through Silent Books Publishing, we do work with third-party designers. Like, I will be, if my kid is open to it, even though she's selective about who she's working with right now, I already asked her. But she, I'm going to be here, I'm saying, hey, can you design this cover if you want to do, can you work with this artist? Or even working with another designer. But to give people that platform to say, hey, I sold my book and I sold over this many copies, and I didn't go through Penguin or Random House or Harper Book Collins and those traditional publishers. I did it all myself. Even me selling my own book, I didn't even sell book on Amazon. I've sold many copies. Like, my book is taught at Morgan State University in one class, and it was taught at West Virginia Wesleyan College in a class. And so my book is ongoing selling all from my website. I just recently put my book on Amazon. So I'm looking to have more copies. But that's all from simply self-publishing, because social media, you know what I mean? Those things have completely changed. So that's why I'm telling Destiny, like, girl, we can move into basically like you completely doing all of this. And what she's doing right now, completely by herself. You know what I mean? Like, completely.
Yeah. My kid and Angel, what's the best way for people to communicate with you all if they want to collab?
You guys can follow me on Instagram. Y'all know my name's Mikeia Hughley, Mikeahughley. You can DM me, and then we can do like a consult or something like that.
My kid is amazing, y'all. Look up, just a real quick. Look up Vacant by Zadia and listen to the album, but also just look at the art of that and just, you know what I mean, take that in. My kid did that. You can follow me on Instagram, Silent, Silent, Books Publishing. It's almost like, I like to think of it as like a ghostwriter type, you know what I mean? Ghostwriter publishing, like Silent Books Publishing, because it's like I'm a silent self-publisher. But, so yes,
publisher.
A ghost publisher. A ghost, helping you self-publish a book and sell it.
And again, my pre-sale just launched today. We're looking to start shipments October 4th. even though my kid, we said we're still working on the book, it's done. We just gotta kill the cover. But you can find me on Instagram, DESTINII_W. So it's Destiny W. Click the link in my bio for the pre-sale. The book is $35. The pre-sale is running through PayPal. If you have any questions, you can DM me about the ordering through pre-sale.
It's free shipping.
Yeah, it's free shipping. Yes. If you don't have PayPal and you would like to still do a pre-sale order, you can do so. My Cash App is $Destiny Williams. So it's DESTINII, capital WILLIAMS. So I can still get your pre-sale order through there. You're gonna love the book. It's beautiful. It's a great investment. It even has stories that you can sit and read with all ages of your family, and really kind of dive deep into conversation. And I'm so happy to have my friends to work on this project with me and really bring it to life. I could not have done it without them. You can't do stuff by yourself, people. You can't do it by yourself. You gotta really dive into your community. Again, network across. Still hold your friends accountable. I know we are into this era now of like support Black businesses. However, there are a lot of concerns with customer service in Black businesses. So these two don't have that problem. Whenever I needed to contact them, I can get in touch with them right away. We actually named our group called Squad. So yeah, and be flexible with the variations of how your writing changes and how it evolves, and love your project. You can't write it and then throw it at a publisher and then expect them to still take on the whole idea and vision that you had with the book. And same with the designer. Like, I gave her full control. However, I stayed with her every step of the process. We went through page by page by page by page, which is why we're all equally in love with it. And I appreciate that. There are going to be many more talks about the book. Angel and my kid will be present. We're going to do some type of
Merchandise.
Oh, yes, we didn't even talk about that. My kid, she laid out my whole marketing and merchandise plan from how to advertise on YouTube to the different merch to book tour T-shirts. She. So what are you, my marketer too?
I'm just me.
Yes. Thank y'all so much for even listening.
Yeah, thank you for tuning
Breakout
in.
Fest. Thank you so much, y'all. Make sure y'all watch the other people on here. Pre-order this book, y'all. Pre-order
Get the book. I'm gonna put it in my bio too.
I'm an author. I'm so excited.
Liquor with friends.
Liquor with Friends up next. Definitely.
Shout out to my partner, Ricky Jacobs.
Shout out.
Love you.
Did I save it?
Please save it, because I want to save it. Cheyenne Gibbons.
Did you save it?
She plays so much.
I don't know. What is it doing? Look
Is
at
it still
this.
live?
Look at it.
What is that?
What is it doing?
Oh, it's just
Don't worry, this is safe for sure.
And I just copy it.
I need the IG live. Okay, because we can see it on our.
Yeah, and then you can
I'm already on the